Hello, this is the Provoked Prawn, and this is the SteelSeries Arctis Pro Wireless. This is a snazzy gaming headset from SteelSeries, and this is an unboxing video to show you what's in the box, what you get for your money, and to give you an initial overview of what it's like to use. I'll be doing a review in future, but this video should give you a good heads up on what's inside the box and how it works and how it stacks up against the other headsets that I've tested. Now, this is the cream of the crop from SteelSeries, and it is basically a replacement for the SteelSeries Siberia 800, which means it is the most expensive SteelSeries headset money can buy. It is also very nice, but you'll see some similarities if you've seen my SteelSeries Siberia 800 review previously, which I'll link to, and if you've seen the other videos that I've done for the SteelSeries Arctis range, then it should be immediately familiar. The two sort of designs have merged together to create this monster headset, which is fantastic, by the way. However, there are some interesting points of note here. Firstly, this is not high-res certified, which means it is not capable of the 98,000 Hz of high-res audio that the SteelSeries Arctis Pro plus GameDAC was. That is interesting, but I think it's probably because of all the other magic that goes on with this headset, and the fact that it is wireless and Bluetooth. It is, however, capable of 40,000 Hz, so it still delivers some pretty fantastic audio. It is also capable of Bluetooth, as I just said, and 2.4 GHz wireless, which means that it's compatible with a range of devices, including the PlayStation 4 PC, which is where I'll be using it mostly, and mobile phones, which is a really nice touch and actually works really well. I'll discuss that in a bit more depth. It's also capable of around 40 foot, or at least SteelSeries claim, range. I found it probably is a bit less than that, but it's wireless, so that means you can get up and go get a drink or go to the toilet, depending how far the bathroom is from your gaming area, without having to take the headset off or worry about cables. Obviously, if you've got Bluetooth, then you've probably got the phone in your pocket, so that's pretty handy. And it is really comfortable. And as you can see, a very familiar design. If you've seen the Arctis Pro video and the other Arctis videos that I've done, you'll see immediately familiar design. The only difference here really is the buttons underneath and the way they function, because there's a bit more functionality to it. But you'll see the traditional classic SteelSeries weave on the ear cups, the retractable microphone, which is the red LED mute on it, which you'll see at some point. And then you have in the box the rest of the jazz, which includes the little control box. Now that plugs into your PC or PS4 and does all the processing and transmits the wireless signal. It also comes with a number of cables, which I'll show you in a minute. But basically this little box means that you don't need software for the headset to run, which is why it's compatible with your PlayStation and whatever else, and it's nice and easy to use. Also means that that can do the processing, and you'll notice Dolby Audio sign underneath that because it's capable of doing some lovely DTS, Headphone X, and Dolby Digital. It has optical inputs on it, which you'll see, and USB, and a variety of different inputs which allow it to connect to different devices. Another quick point of note is this headset does not have any RGB lighting on it, unlike other SteelSeries headsets. Probably a power saving move. Also, I've always wondered why you'd want to include RGB lighting on a headset when you can't see it when it's on anyway, so it doesn't really bother me. But for the amount of money, I'm surprised I didn't include it because it is a very expensive headset. You'll see the box itself is nice and shiny. It is, as I found, a bit of a fingerprint magnet and a dust magnet, but that's not really a problem. It sits nicely on the desk. The cables for it are fairly short, so I've sort of put it on the edge of my desk, but that's not a big problem because it will sit next to your computer or your PlayStation, depending on what you're using. And then underneath and inside the box you get a little accessories pack, which basically contains all the extra wires that you'll need. One thing you'll note from the back of the box here, and you'll see in a second anyway, is that this device comes with 2 batteries, which is a very nice touch, and that has the same design as the SteelSeries Siberia 800, which you've seen before. Now that basically means that they are hot swappable, so you can have one on charge, and they charge within the control box, which is really neat, and I love that on that Siberia 800. And then you can just pop them out and swap them over when you need to. There is obviously a slight delay as you take the battery out and put it back in because you'll lose the audio briefly. But I haven't found that to be a problem while testing, and the battery seems to last for a long time as well, which is fantastic. Now, as I mentioned briefly, this is compatible with phones as well, and I found that pairing is really easy. There's a button underneath which I'll show you. You might have seen it at the beginning, but I'll show you in a bit more depth. There's two buttons. There's basically a power button which turns on and off, and that will automatically connect to the control box when it's plugged in and turned on with ease, so you don't have to worry about faffing with that connection every time. And then there's a Bluetooth button which you can obviously turn on and pair with anything. Now I've also tested it with a laptop, so you can connect the headset to a different computer. If it has a Bluetooth capability built into it, you can connect it to that. So I've connected it to a Razer laptop that I'm currently testing. Listening to music, absolutely fine. Did find the quality of the audio when gaming over Bluetooth isn't as good, so I'd recommend using the control box and having that wireless, but for like listening to Spotify or something, it's fine. Now you can see here's one of the spare batteries, the other one's inside the headset itself. And those batteries are dead easy to swap over, as I'll show you in a bit. And as I said, you just stick them in the back of the control box to get a nice bit of extra juice. Now these are 1000 milliamp batteries. Lithium ions, and they don't take long to charge, and even if they did, it doesn't matter because you've got the battery in there. And obviously if they're both charged, you could take one with you as well if you're leaving the house. So the advantage of this headset is because it's understated, it hasn't got a garish design to it or anything, and probably because of the lack of RGB, it also means you could just pop it in your bag and take it out and use it on the bus or the train or on the way to work, or if you're going out for a walk, because it connects to Bluetooth really easily, as I said. And you can retract the microphone basically all the way. Now, because it's got a microphone built in, it also means that you can use it for Bluetooth calls on your phone. So basically this is an all singing, all dancing headset that's really, really flexible. It's very comfortable. I really like the SteelSeries design. You can also see you can pop off the tops there, and they're swappable. I believe you can buy fancy covers to go over either side if you want to make yours look personalised. And the other side, there's the battery, and you can see, you just stick your finger in the top there and pull that out. Swap it over for the other one, charge it up. Nice and easy. Really easy to swap over. You get an audible warning from the headset when the battery's getting low, and you also have an indicator on the control box which tells you what the current state of charge is on the battery, both on the one you're using and the one within the control box, which is a really nice touch. And here you can see the airweave cushions. Get a closer view of those in a bit later on. But you can also upgrade those and purchase leather ear cups. You can see there's a variety of controls underneath. So on the right hand side you have the power and Bluetooth buttons, and there's indicators. A white indicator shows you the power's on, and a blue indicator for the Bluetooth. And here's the control box itself. You'll notice an apparent flicker on the menu system. Obviously that's just from the recording. I apologise for that. That doesn't actually flicker like that when you're using it, but it talks you through the setup process, and you can set through the various connections with ease here. You can choose different sources, set the levels. So there's a chat mix, which you'll see, and there's a wheel on the back of the headset, which is the same as the other Arctis designs. So it basically allows you to roll between audio from games and audio from VoIP programs that you might be using, for example Discord, so you can set a balance between those two and get the audio the way you want it. You can also turn surround sound on and off, adjust the equalizers to be the way you want it, set a side tone from the microphone up to 10, and choose that level where you hear the voice. Now, one of the things I said about the previous Arctis Pro is the amount of sound that they block out. They are not noise cancelling headphones. This is not a noise cancelling headset, so it doesn't block out external sound. But because of the design, so it's nice and clamped to your head really tightly, I do find it blocks out a lot of the surrounding audio, which means that you can not hear yourself. So I've actually found the side tones quite useful to use. I don't generally like it because I don't like to hear my own voice when I'm talking, but you do find that sometimes you end up shouting, which is something I said on a previous video, I believe, on the other Arctis. And so having that side tone capability is really nice because it means you don't have to worry about that. There's a volume wheel on the box. There's also one on the headset itself, which I'll show you. And as I was showing, is the red microphone light here, which basically shows you every time it's muted, so you can easily see it at a glance. Now there's a mic mute button on the back of the headset, which allows you to easily mute the microphone so people don't hear you if you want to pop to the loo or get a drink. And that's easy to access. Everything that you can do, well, the majority of the stuff that you can do on the control box, you can also do via the headset. So for example, the volume can be adjusted up and down with ease. Now on previous Arctis, that was essentially just a slight volume change. On the Arctis Pro Plus GameDAC, it would only let you go a certain level up and down. This headset lets you go all the way up and down from the volume control wheel, all the way to minimum volume to maximum volume as well. And that works over the Bluetooth and over the wireless. And also you can do the same on the box, so you can control the volume of Bluetooth on the box as well. Another thing you can do is you can push in that wheel and access the various other settings. So pushing it in once, for example, was put you onto chat mix, which allows you to change the switch between the various volumes on chat mix. So you can go, as I said, more audio from the game or more from the VoIP program. You can push it in to change the equalizer mode and set the source, so you get a variety of different options there, which is really nice. And there's the ability to plug in a 3.5mm connector if you want to connect to your phone but you don't want to use Bluetooth and you want to use a traditional 3.5 jack. So that's nice and easy too. So basically this is a really versatile headset that's very comfortable. As you can see, it's got that ski goggle headband design. I find it's quite tight. It's quite tight on the head. I've got a large head, so yes, you'll see when I do the review, or if you've seen previous reviews, you get an idea of what that's like. It is very flexible though. You've probably seen as I'm doing a video that you can turn the ear cups nicely. So you can turn them in either direction. You can see here the little white light that's flashing that shows it's turned on as well, and the various controls. And the quality, the earweave really the airweave cushions really comes out there, and it sits nicely on the head, and they don't get too hot. This sort of design could get a bit warm, but it doesn't. I'm happy to report it doesn't get too hot. It's just a very comfortable headset. Now this is a lot of money, but it actually is a very good design, and it works really well. And having a long life wireless headset that has easily hot swappable batteries, you don't need to worry about plugging it in. The only time you do need to plug it in is for firmware updates. So we'll note that it does work with a SteelSeries Engine 3, which basically means you can update your firmware there. So although SteelSeries say it doesn't need any software, if you want to update the latest firmware, you do need to plug it in. But that's not too much of a hassle. I've done that once. You probably don't need to worry about it too much beyond that. And that allows you to access a variety of other controls as well. Basically the same as on the control box, so you don't really need to do it. This has been the Provoked Prawn. Hope you liked this video. Please like, subscribe and come back to see the review. Thanks very much for watching.